So, what really is the biggest issue in this election campaign? Brexit? The NHS? Neither. It's climate change, say the Green Party, including Ellie Chowns, and Extinction Rebellion, of course. They've certainly succeeded in pushing environmental politics up the agenda, haven't they? Even though they're not directly involved in this election themselves. Nevertheless, they've still had plenty to say, especially to our environment correspondent, David Gregory-Kumar.
Taking a break from protesting, 4 members of Extinction Rebellion meeting up at Birmingham's oldest vegetarian cafe to swap protest stories.
What was your favourite day during London protests?
Millbank, that was my favourite day when we went and we sang at Millbank.
She was like, I'm always going to remember this moment.
This lovely lady takes me by the hand and says, come listen, come listen.
Big protests have pushed the environment up the political agenda, but Extinction Rebellion as a group is non-political, so badges off. Speaking as ordinary people, how convinced are this group by the green promises from our politicians?
The Conservative Party, how dare they even try to say that environmental issues are a pressing issue?
I do worry that a lot of the policies that they're putting forward are just kind of trying to get more votes, trying to get my vote, just kind of moving in the direction that I wanted them to go, but once they get into power, if they do get into power, will they follow through?
I think the environment is probably the most important issue that we as a planet face. I think Brexit, of course, is extremely important. The economic future of this country is important. However, we're not really going to have an economy or a post-Brexit scenario if we have ecological collapse and the fundamental breakdown of society.
You might assume everyone here will be voting Green, but not so fast.
At some point it's about compromising personal ideals when you're faced with the reality of a situation that actually in this election I don't think the Greens will get in. I think Labour could get in and hopefully will, but I think if I was to split my vote like that, it would be the Tories and I couldn't have that on my conscience.
So I feel like, of course, the Green Party are addressing these issues and they're doing a great job of that. However, within my constituency and my area as a whole, the Green Party, unfortunately, do not have a chance of being elected.
For the majority of this group, this will be their first general election. But don't think, having had a taste of traditional democracy, they're backing away from direct action.
Even Labour's Green New Deal plan doesn't push hard enough for the changes that need to be made. And I think if there are demands that aren't met in terms of what we fundamentally need and necessarily need to do to protect the environment, then we will continue to engage in civil disobedience until our demands are met, for sure.
You know, if a meteorite was coming towards us and we all knew it was coming and some people were trying to tell us to ignore the meteorite and just think about Brexit, I think we'd be thinking they were absolutely insane. But because it's not a meteorite and it's some conceptual thing in the future, we think that we somehow can ignore it and it won't happen, which is something which will kill us, essentially.
All of the manifestos have a thick green stripe running through them this year. Parties are falling over themselves, for example, to say which one will plant the most millions of trees. But the truth is, it's not really enough to convince the young people we've been talking to in this cafe. They'll be back protesting whatever the results. So, in the meantime, I've got some vegan brownies for the office, and our politicians have got some food for thought.
They didn't last long in our newsroom, I can tell you. Our thanks to David Gregory-Kumar.